Oh, is it started?
Yeah. We could just get your opinion out of the way. Like, did you like Akira?
That's a simple question, and it doesn't have a simple answer.
Okay. Yeah, I get that. The first time I watched this, and the last time I watched this was 8 years ago or something like that. It was, I think, 2017. I remember watching it, and I'm like, I think I like it, but I don't know what really happened. I will say that I feel like I did understand it more this time around than the last time.
Yeah, I'll say that I feel like I still need to wrap my actual thoughts around this, but I'll say that I walked out of this movie, like if I was to describe my perception of this movie after the credits rolled in 3 words, it definitely would be, what the fuck?
Yeah, I get that. So I thought this would be a good first movie for this because it's a cyberpunk movie. I know that you kind of like that genre.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a classic animated film. So I thought I would have been, culturing you a little more.
Yeah, because I definitely need to be cultured.
Watching it this time around, I think one word that would describe like the feeling of this film is like it feels raw.
I feel like that's a good word. Yeah.
It feels really, really raw. I feel like a lot of anime from the 80s and 90s just feel that way. And a part of me does kind of miss that. I say we weren't alive during that, but I guess it kind of bleeds into some of the anime from early 2000s.
Yeah. I mean, it was a time before anime really became, I don't want to say mainstream, but that's really what it is. Yeah. Like, it was a time before anime became mainstream in the way that we know it now. I think a good way to put that is this. I had to really, in watching this movie, because I had heard of Akira. I knew about Akira. I had no idea what it was about, and I'm still not even sure I do know what it was about. But the one thing I did know about it is it had a heavy influence on a lot of media after that, and so to see it from that perspective was kind of fun because I was sitting there watching it almost feeling like I was seeing the origin of a lot of different types of storytelling that I had already seen growing up. I guess the best example is Stranger Things, because the Duffer, is that what they're called? The Duffer Brothers?
Yeah, I think whatever.
I think they had basically admitted that Akira was heavily in the DNA of Stranger Things.
I can see that with the body horror stuff they do in that show.
Well, also the fact that I when we were watching it, wife was in the room, and the whole sequence where Tetsuo's running around the hospital, he's locked up by I don't remember what they're called, the lab in that hospital with all the kids, and he's busting ass getting to the baby room, and he's blowing shit up, and the whole time I was like, oh, why is this so much like Stranger Things? And then she actually, while I was sitting there watching it, looked it up and was like, oh, actually it inspired Stranger Things. And then she started reading off a list of different film and shows that Akira heavily influenced, and that kind of changed my perception of the movie while I was watching it, seeing it from the perspective of oh, I can see a lot of how this film impacted not just anime but Western media as well. I don't know why it did, because I walked out of it not sure for its time, but
one big thing that made it really popular was the animation, because it's it's an animated marvel. That thing still holds up to this day. Not really the character designs. I mean, I kind of grew to like the designs, but one common criticism I see about the movie is their faces. A lot of the characters' faces look shrunk.
I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent, but can we actually talk about that for a second? Because I have a lot of thoughts on animation and specifically character design.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, for one, the animation. I like how you describe this movie as raw, because the animation I thought was stellar. For the time, it was very fluid. It was very attractive to my eye. It felt kind of grunge. I don't know if that's even a correct word to use describing animation. yeah, gritty, but it felt very like fluid and I don't know, flamboyant. Like it was it was very animated, which sounds really stupid, but that was the best way I could describe it. And I liked that. Like it just was eye-catching to me. But the thing that I hated the most out of it, I feel like, was the character design.
Yeah.
And I think that's just like a taste thing for me, but like most of the main characters all look like each other. Like
That's a common thing in anime, though.
I guess so, but like Kaneda and what's her name?
Okay.
The female lead. Literally, there were several scenes where I was like, "Wait, which one of these two am I looking at right
It
now?"
doesn't help that they kind of have similar outfits throughout the whole movie. I wanted to go back to the gritty or raw thing, but I think one thing that helps it feel raw is that obviously because it was traditionally animated, and I don't know if you've seen anything like behind the scenes of traditionally animated stuff. You know, they put cells on top of each other and you know, everything's hand painted, hand drawn. And I think that human aspect of the film really makes it feel more raw.
No, I would be very interested to see more of the behind the scenes specifically for this film.
I also wanted to go back to the whole like AKIRA aspiring other thing.
Yeah.
Did you know the AKIRA bike slide came from AKIRA?
The what?
Bike slide.
Oh.
Yeah, the iconic bike slide. You know it came from this? This is a joke.
No,
unless you didn't know.
I didn't know that. I guess that's cool.
So that little bike slide in the beginning of the film, you didn't know that came from this?
No, I didn't.
Did you think that was a reference to another thing? Or did you ever notice that was like ever a reference to anything?
I mean, I'll be honest. I don't think I took note of it at all when I watched this movie. I'm just now remembering that scene. But now that you mention it,
I'm gonna look for the video now. There's like a video out there that like does all the callbacks to that scene.
I guess my brain just sees bike slides and goes, "Wow, cool bike slide stunt."
But it makes me think like, will there ever be anything as heavily referenced as this bike slide?
Like in animation in particular?
Especially in animation. This is probably like the most homaged thing in animation.
Honestly, I need to rewatch the first one. Wow, you know, Crunchyroll did not do this justice. This scene is beautiful. I did not notice the details in this scene. I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think of... Well, I didn't even know that this was heavily a thing until now, so I guess why would I be able to think of another animated...
Well, maybe just like in film in general, because I don't know if there's like... I guess there are things that other films pay homage to, but...
Yeah, like all the time.
Yeah. But I feel like never to this extent.
I feel like I was actually thinking of one in live action. It's like constantly brought up, but I don't know. I mean, you got those genre type of references that are just like come up in every single movie, like the same joke overplayed, but that's different. So I do want to say, first of all, and I guess this is to give a disclaimer on my opinions to this film, this beloved film that I'm sure a lot of people adore, that I had never seen up to this point, up to you making me watch it, but I did watch it dubbed.
I mean, so did I, but this is my second time watching it, so...
Yeah, I watched it dubbed, and I spent the entire movie wishing I hadn't watched it dubbed. And I want to say that I think that is because the animation kind of took away from, like, I feel like this was a very difficult film to dub. That's how it felt. Their words definitely did not line up with their expressions at the time. It felt like there was a lot of forced dialogue. I know that there's multiple dubs of this film, so I'm not even going to go into that,
Yeah.
But I did feel like that. And in saying my opinions, I am doing my best to separate the fact that I watched it dubbed. Like, the dub I hated, but I'm trying to separate my opinion of the movie overall from that experience.
I have a couple things to say about that. So I actually learned this today. So AKIRA was pre-scored, but basically the script for AKIRA was recorded before they actually animated it, which in Japan that's not common. They usually animate it before they record the lines, so the dialogue probably fits the original Japanese language.
Oh, that actually makes a lot of sense.
Even to
I
this
spent
day,
the whole time. God.
I was just saying, even to this day, like they still do the animation first before they do the dialogue, which I always thought was wild.
That is super interesting, and it makes a lot of sense because I've watched anime like this before where I'm like, oh man, that dub was bad. This is the first time I've watched something where I was like, that would have looked better and sounded better in Japanese.
I mean, obviously it does. I like to think that I've grown out of like, oh, subbed is always better. In this case, it definitely is. But at the end of the day, I think it doesn't really matter as long as you can enjoy the film.
Yeah, I would say, like, if I was to rewatch Akira, it would have to be in a specific circumstance, but I would prefer to watch it sub. I feel like that would just make the film better for me. And I don't say that a lot about anime because you know me, I can't read that fast. So
we both complained about the one meme scene. Like,
yeah, leave me. I was so disappointed in that scene.
I guess we can talk about the plot now.
I would love to talk about the plot because I have thoughts on the plot.
Okay.
Mostly that I don't understand it. I'll say this. You were right. I love dystopians. I love kind of that like cyberpunk sci-fi. I love the aesthetic of this film.
Yeah.
This film had some weird shit in it though.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't that I had a hard time keeping up. It was that I don't know. I was watching this post long days of baby and work, so maybe
probably
yeah. But so the plot was easy enough to keep up with. It just like it was one of those movies where I'm like, I feel like this is saying more than it actually is, and I'm just not getting it, and it's vaguely frustrating. But overall, the simplification of the plot, like what's going on with Tetsuo and stuff, by the end of the story, I really liked his story. Everything else, I was kind of like, I guess I didn't not like it. I just felt kind of meh towards it, which is really weird because it's been a while since I felt meh towards a movie. I don't know. I think the fun part for me was that it was a familiar plot because it has influenced so many different forms of storytelling. Like you talk about this kind of sci-fi dystopic setting, and then the type of stories that are typically told in that type of setting. Like I feel like I've seen the influence of this movie in other stories, and I can't think of any examples, so that is an empty thought. But other than Stranger Things, because we were talking about the Duffer Brothers, but I've seen the influence trickle into a lot of different other areas, I guess. So that part was fun. I guess I just have a lot of complex feelings towards the plot of this film.
Yeah.
And I can't really get them out in a verbal format.
I get that. I felt that way the first time I watched it, like all those years ago. So I don't know if you saw, but in the beginning of the film, they ride past a stadium that says Tokyo Olympics. It takes place in 2019, the film, and
yeah,
it was counting down towards
pre-COVID.
It was counting down towards the.
They had no idea what was coming. Sorry, I'll stop.
It was counting down towards the 2020 Olympics, which ended up being in Tokyo. And I'm just like, that's crazy. Like, I like looked up like how early do they award what country gets the Olympics, and I think it was 2013 they awarded Tokyo the right to host it. And I'm like, did they predict the Tokyo Olympics? But apparently in the manga, it was actually the 2031 Olympics, which there was like an in-world reason that wasn't really specified of why it got delayed a year or whatever. But in the movie, I don't know if they edited it in like.
Wait, did you say 2031?
Yeah. In the manga, it was 2031.
Oh, okay.
In the movie, I think they changed the date for whatever reason, and it just happened to actually happen in real life.
Oh, I'm glad you explained it because I was about to be like, is this like Simpsons level time travel conspiracy shit?
I don't know, maybe someone on the Olympic committee was a fan of Akira, is like, I gotta make it happen.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
So this time around, what I got from the film is, and I don't know if I'm reading it right, but like how dangerous power can be, because there's the main plot, and then in the background there's like this whole thing going on with Tokyo and how they're unable to, I guess, control the power that they have, and people are like rioting and protesting. you have Tetsuo, who gains this power that he awakened within himself, and then he can't control it at some point. It just gets all over the place, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. That's I could see that. I think I do like that explanation because I recognized that I like the political subplot that was going on with the council and the general, or I think the colonel. I liked those scenes because I really like political subplot, and I feel like there was just so much to digest in this movie that I did not pick up on that theme, but I do like that explanation because I'm realizing as you're saying that during all the protesting scenes, I was sitting there still trying to figure out, how did Tetsuo's powers activate? Did the weird zombie looking kid activate them in the motorcycle accident, or did something else were they always in him? That's what I feel like I spent most of the movie trying to figure out the weird mystery side of things that I just kind of ignored or not really ignored, but I just didn't focus on what was going on.
Yeah, because I was wondering that too throughout the film, but I think it sort of does explain it in the film. I don't know if they go more in depth in the manga, but in the film there was there was the part where Kei and Kaneda were in that cell, and then Kei gets possessed or whatever by the, what was her name? It was she sort of
it's Kyoko.
Oh, Kyoko.
So that you don't get absolutely blasted.
When Kyoko possesses Kei, she sort of explains it how actually that power that Tetsuo is manifesting is within everybody. How it was activated, I don't think they explain. I mean, obviously the bike accident activated it, but it doesn't really explain why. It was always in him. Everybody has it. I don't know why it activated in him specifically at that time.
Well, I mean, that makes me think. I really liked that monologue when Kyoko possessed Kate, that scene. I just like shit like that where she's explaining the innate, think about where humans came from and where did those creatures evolve from, and there was a universal origin to everything in the universe. And I was just thinking about I don't know, I like existential cosmology like that, I guess. But you bring that to mind and it makes me think I feel like the whole purpose of it being about power and the dangers of it is that it was always inside of Tetsuo and it was inside of everybody, but I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. It's too complex, man. It's too much.
It's too big brain.
It's too big brain. Speaking of big brain, Tetsuo's got a big ass head, dude. And I swear, I don't know if it got bigger when his powers activated, but it sure looked like it was like Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah,
it made me.
I was gonna say it reminded me of the episode Jimmy Neutron where Sheen gets
Sheen.
Yeah,
dude, me and the wife said the same exact thing. I was like, he looks just like Sheen.
I feel like maybe this is just me, but I feel like there's not really a likable character in this movie. Well, there's one kind of, but it's because she doesn't really do anything.
Who's that? Are you talking about Kei?
No, not Kei. Kaori, the chick who was.
Oh, Kaori. Yeah, she was likable.
Because she didn't do anything.
Yeah.
If anything, I felt bad for her because
yeah.
yeah. At the end.
For real. For some reason I had just this morning I was thinking about this movie and I was like, oh, did they ever show if Kaori made it out of there? And then all of a sudden I had a flashback to what actually happened, and I was like,
no, she didn't. She did not make it. But I do want to preface that I do think that they weren't meant to be likable.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about that because I did like Kaneda. I thought he was a bit annoying, but he was annoying with a purpose, I guess.
His own virtues or whatever, his own ideals.
Yeah, and I could see why a lot of people wouldn't like him as a character. I also kind of liked the Colonel too, but that was also more of an ideal. I didn't think he was doing the best thing, but he did have ideals.
Not that I don't like the characters, but in real life, if you were to be these kind of people, I don't think they would be likable.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a separation there. whatever.
Well, I mean, I will say I did not like Kay. Kay is always the exclusion for me. She was my least favorite character in this whole film. I just did not like her top to bottom. But this film is kind of like an alternate history, right?
Yeah.
Because the AKIRA incident happens in the 80s.
In 88 when the film was released.
Yeah, when the film was released, that sparks World War III. We don't know any details about World War III, but we know how it's affected New Tokyo. And it's based off of the technology and the setting. You can kind of infer some things that have happened in this alternate timeline. Well, I guess it's not, it was an alternate future when it came out, but for us watching from 2020, 2025 now, it's an alternate timeline.
So like
I felt like
of their environment.
Yes, and I felt like writing wise that these characters were accurate, very accurate to the setting that they were in, like the biker gang kind of like New Tokyo grunge setting. They actually, I don't know, have you seen American Graffiti?
No, I've been meaning to though.
It's not exactly like, I wouldn't compare it apples to apples, but like the characters in this, specifically the biker gang, like Kaneda and Tetsuo's gang, they reminded me of the characters from American Graffiti, like the way they acted, that like kind of 50s writer mentality, teenagers just goofing off and going out and stuff.
Do you remember there was like a dude in the beginning who was like, I guess, escaping with one of the kids, the Takashi, and he just got straight up murdered, but they didn't really explain who he was.
Oh, well, yeah, he was like, he was like
taker or something.
No, he was one of the, he was a part of, I don't know.
Oh, did
the
they?
guy that Kay was with, this guy was a part of their crew, their like rebellion, because they said when they were like planning their break-in to get Tetsuo or whatever, they had talked about how like they had successfully gotten subject 25 or whatever number Takashi was, but then they failed because he got caught and then absolutely brutalized by the police. They were like, oh shit, he's got a gun, let's shoot him down with our M16s.
I guess I missed that part. Now that you bring it up, I do remember that scene, but I guess I just like missed that conversation. Yeah.
This movie was made before the manga was finished, right?
Yeah, it's another like Nausicaa situation, but the thing with Nausicaa was it finished 10 years after the movie released, while Kira, the manga, finished 2 years after the movie. So it was pretty close to being done. But from what I understand, both manga and film are very much revered in their own, which is the same thing as Nausicaa. But obviously, like, I feel like most people would probably prefer the manga, the original story, over the film. I'm that way with Nausicaa. I really like the manga more than the film. But,
I mean, Nausicaa's good.
You got anything else to say?
Well, I guess now that we've digested it more, to answer your question at the beginning, did I like AKIRA? I'll answer it like this, because I feel like this is the best way to answer this about movies. Would I go out of my way to watch this movie again? Probably not. I feel like a decade from now, I am going to look back at this, like some memories I have of this movie, with fondness enough to make me want to watch it again. Just because the animation and the intriguing parts of the story were, I don't know, I guess I would describe them as classic in a way. Like there's something familiar to it, familiar and cozy, I guess is what I would say. And even though I guess thinking about some of these scenes, I guess I shouldn't describe this movie as cozy, but it is, it definitely like has some of that. So like I could see a long time from now being like, oh, I could watch that again, but I probably no time soon would ever go out of my way to watch this over some other movies that I really like, or even some animation movies I really like.
Yeah. I do want to reiterate, like, when I first watched it, I wasn't sure if I liked it or not, but this time around, I think I do like it. I wouldn't say I love it, but I do really like it, and I do appreciate, like, the impact it has had on the animation industry. It's definitely a classic.
Yeah. I did want to digest the ending a little bit, because I really liked not most of the ending, but I did like Aneda and Tetsuo's fight and chemistry towards the end of the movie. That was really fun. But the last, when AKIRA does what it becomes God mode and makes Tetsuo go God mode, or whatever is, I truly still don't understand what was going on.
About like when he blows up, essentially.
Yeah, well, when he blows up, and then the scientist said it all, because I think he says something like, "Oh my gosh, if these numbers, if according to these numbers, this is the start of the universe," or whatever, which got me all into everything I've read about astrophysics and cosmology, and I was like, it's the Great Expansion. It's what was going on, like
The Big Bang.
the cosmic microwave background, blah blah blah. Like I did I don't know, very sci-fi for them to close out with like this weird atomic sci-fi bullshittery that happens where Tetsuo essentially becomes god of a universe. That like last line at the end of the movie where like right before those credits roll, man, those credits were crazy too. But when he's like, I am Tetsuo, or whatever it is he says, and then it's just like a universe being formed or whatever.
AKIRA 2.
Well, I was just like, I feel like there's still so much to unpack with this. Like, what actually happened, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I want to know. I know a lot of times storytellers leave these things open, and that's great. That's fun and all. I want to know what happened. Well, did Tetsuo become a god? What happened to Akira? Is Akira running his own universe and just showed up in this one? Or, like, what the fuck? Like, I want to know. I want to know what Katsuhiro Otomo. I want to sit down in a room with him and pick his brain until he finally gives up and tells me what his interpretation.
He's still alive. Yeah, you can track him down. Lock him in the room.
Oh, I could just read the manga. Who's got time for that? Not me.